You got a gun, you got a big gun, you got a gun, it's not a real one, and all you ever think about is running away, all you ever think about is trying to stay away from me.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Not Safe for Work MMA show. I am your host, Kyle Steele, and joining me, per usual, is Mr. Fred Kirby. Hello, Fred.
Young man.
This is, again, the Not Safe for Work MMA show on the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. Please check out the rest of the shows on the network. And as a reminder, we do consider the show to be the traditional understanding of not being safe for work. We're going to kind of say whatever we want to say. There's really no filter. So keep that in mind. If you're around young children or people that you don't want to hear savagery, don't listen to the show. Sometimes we're not uber savage, but it seems like most of the time we are. So just keep that in mind. And also, nobody else in the network or nobody that we are affiliated, endorses our message. So don't come at them for shit that we're saying. If you got a problem with what Fred and I are saying, come at Fred and I. I think that's it. Those are the trigger warnings. Anything else I should say?
That's the disclaimer, right?
That's the disclaimer.
Yeah, I wish people would come at me. I please do not come at our friends. Please, if you have any issue with what I say, Kirby_MMA on Twitter. Come find me. Do not bother anybody else. I stand behind all the bullshit.
In fact, even if you have a problem with me, just come at Fred.
Bring it to Twitter. I take everybody's Twitter beefs.
Just come at Fred.
I don't
regardless.
mind it at
Listen,
all.
you got a problem with Dana White? Just come at Fred.
All right, you can keep those. Just
come at Fred.
DW's got a lot of haters, Jack.
You got a problem with Corey Anderson?
Yeah.
Come at Fred. You know,
fucking Tito Ortiz. You don't like that he's going to be the mayor of Huntington Beach? Holler at me.
I don't think he's a commissioner. Whatever. I would love for him to be the mayor, though.
He might be. I wouldn't put nothing past nobody these days.
Boy.
What the fuck? Boy, he's dumber in a bag of nails, though. Have you seen any of these fucking?
Oh my God! What is it? Borchina Depot?
Yeah,
is that the guy on Twitter?
Shout out to Borchina Depot that he's always killing Tito. Tito is saying the most goofy shit.
It is.
How
wonderful.
the fuck did he even get a seat on the city council? I mean, he's a half a fucking moron.
Dude.
I almost used the R word, but we can't say that no more.
I mean, we can't on this
Quite
show.
frankly, it's fucking disrespectful to the retards to fucking put Tito in their group. At least they fucking, they got a little class to them and they were born that way. Fucking Tito's just a big fucking goofy lug. All bullshit aside, you know what bothers me about Tito? Just people like this in general. He tries to act like he's smart. Listen, man, a lot of us just ain't that smart. I'm not that smart. I'm willing to concede it. That's fine. Nothing bugs me more than a dummy that tries to act like he's smart. Tito, you're dumber than a bag of nails. You're a tough guy, bad motherfucker, and one of the greatest fighters on earth at one point. But let's not just try to act like you're going to be some clever politician now. You're a fucking dummy.
He is.
He's comedic gold as far as it goes.
He is. And I will say, and Keith and I have had many a conversation about this, and I'll just hit this point and then we'll move on to the show. But we do not deserve Tito on this earth. I don't know what humans did to deserve to be in the presence of that man. And I mean this positively. I do not mean this negatively. I mean, he is a fucking gem. He is just a gem. And I hope the motherfucker becomes a governor. I hope the dude becomes president one day. I'm all about it. Like, let's watch the world burn, baby. I'm all about it.
I mean, he might make it a governor. He ain't going to be president, but he might make it the mayor or governor.
Do you really think that Tito Ortiz cannot be president someday? Given what we're dealing with?
No, listen. This is where the dream ends.
I don't think it does, baby.
No, baby. Tito ain't giving.
Listen, the Dreamers Act just got revived in the Supreme Court. Let's do it, baby.
I mean, listen, he better keep dreaming.
Be a dreamer.
Mayor is his dream. Fucking president is not in his fucking repertoire.
Oh, my God. I would give anything. Just him just rambling through a fucking through a State of the Union address.
Oh God! I will say, like I've said before on this show, man, it's hard to talk on. If you're talking on cam or on a podcast or whatever for large amounts of time, you're bound to say something stupid. But it seems like
have we ever got Brendan Schaub and Tito Ortiz in the same room? Can we do that?
I'm sure they've done that before.
I don't know if they have because we would have seen it on Borchina. We would have seen it on.
I think they have. I think Tito's done I think Tito's done below the
Fighter,
belt.
or Fighter and the Kid or something?
Fighter and the Kid, yeah, Fighter and the Kid.
All right, I'm going to look it up. If he hasn't done that, we need to start like a change.org
That's wild.
and get those two motherfuckers
Fighter
in the
and
same
the
room.
Kid just disappeared since old Brian Callum was fucking whatever he did, right? With the fucking sexual allegations, boy. Sexual allegations killing that Joe Rogan crew. Old fucking Kristen Leah had to fuck off, and now Brian Callen's got to fuck off.
He now does the show with, it's called Fighter in the Something. Not called Fighter in the Something. It's the show with, oh my God, who is that? He's also a Joe Rogan guy. What the fuck is his name?
Is it the red-haired dude?
No, he's the country guy.
Oh, Theo Von?
Theo Von. He does a show with Theo Von now, right?
I think so, yeah.
And it's
the King and the Sting?
The King and the Sting. That's what it is.
Yeah,
He does that now. And then obviously he's still doing like something by himself. It's not below the belt, but he has another thing that he's still doing himself. And
Right.
It looks like Fighter and the Kid.
Right. That's what I thought you were talking about from before.
Yeah, I don't remember what that show's called. But anyway, moving on. Let's get to the kind of pre-fight news. Probably the biggest thing to talk about is Yoel. I want to get into that. Get your thoughts. I also like, and we'll start here. Fucking Darren Till, man. Just to talk about being a gym. Fucking Darren Till. I don't know if you saw this, but right after Yoel announced that he's retiring, because he said he was scared to fight Yoel. So that's the only person he was scared to fight Yoel.
Joke, yeah,
it's been kind of an ongoing joke. And he said, what was it? Let me look. I gotta find it. He says, where's it at? Why can I not find it? Did I do it as a reply? Weird. Okay. He says, he goes, I want to fight at Yoel Romero, my next fight in the UFC. Let's go, Yoel. I am ready. Right after he announced he's leaving. So it's on Instagram, and then somebody commented, breaking Yoel Romero to renew UFC contract until 2077. And then Darren Till replied, second thought, my knee's still hurting.
Darren Till's actually pretty funny.
I know. I like that. I thought that was really good.
Comes across a lot better on Twitter.
So give me your thoughts about Yoel. I mean, I'm watching the card last night, and obviously we had some cancellations, but even the cancellations weren't big fights.
Yeah.
I'm watching the card last night, having the same thing I've had for the last couple weeks, it feels like, where I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
Right.
I don't know who anybody is.
Right.
And I'm watching this card. It's a perfectly fine card, especially the main event. I mean, that main event was fantastic.
Yeah.
And,
but even then, you're still sort of like, Marlon who?
I mean, it's just like, all right, cool. But we're watching the card, and I'm just thinking about Yoel leaving and Corey Anderson left recently, and I'm just like, can the UFC really afford to lose a guy like Yoel at this point? I mean, I don't know. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Yoel's fucking 4-5 in his last fucking how many ever fights? He's lost 4 out of his last fights or whatever. He's fucking in his 40s. He's gotten 3 or 4 title shots. What are we going to do with him? He does have exciting fights, but I would imagine he's also got a pretty hefty price tag. Now, I also heard, I read somewhere that the UFC said they're about to cut like 60 people. Like they're about to clean house. So it's probably a whole bunch of motherfuckers that are about to motherfucking hit the chopping block. And honestly, for me, I mean, look, Yoel Romero is sort of a different story because he is a popular fighter with a name and he's exciting and so on and so forth. But for me, I'm glad they're cutting all these fighters because of what you just said. I'm getting a little sick and tired of watching cards and being like, who versus fucking who? I mean, I do 2 podcasts about MMA. I ain't missed an event in a month of Sundays. And I still barely remember these guys. They fight once or twice, and unless they make a good impression, by the next time I see them fight, I don't fucking remember who the fuck they are. There's too many guys and girls on the roster. I shouldn't even probably throw girls in there. We need some more female talent, but way too many guys. The roster's bloated as fuck. Now, again, Yoel is sort of a bit of a strange takeaway because he's a fucking, really popular, exciting fighter. But, again, he probably costs a lot of money, and what exactly are we doing with him? He ain't making a run at a title. He fought Robert Whittaker a handful. He's fought like all the top guys already. I suppose to play devil's advocate, what exactly were we supposed to do with Yoel Romero at this point? Just put him in like exciting in fights, gatekeeper status sort of vibe?
At least we know who he is. So here's what Dana White had to say at a press conference, I believe, yesterday.
We're going to go through some serious cuts here at the end of the year. Probably going to have 60 cuts coming up before the first of the year. And Yoel is lost 4 of his last 5. He's 44 years old. You know, our roster is very inflated right now. So we're going to have some big cuts coming before the end of the year. You're going to see a lot of names going here in the next several weeks.
So with Yoel, just it's that simple. I mean, I think people were saying, was there some weird negotiations happening, or was there something with USADA or anything like that?
Nothing like that. No, we're just literally starting to go through the list, and you know, he's 44. He's lost 4 of his last 5, and you know, these are the tough decisions you got to make. We're going to go through some.
So it sounds like the insinuation that I'm making as well is that we're going to see a lot of cuts of guys with names that aren't doing too hot, like a John Vellante, right? Like that. I think that's the type of guy that's going to get cut.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Right. People that have some names.
Negotiations, everything, too. I mean, they will probably, I would imagine they didn't just go to Yoel and say, pack your shit, go. They probably said, look here, we're going to throw a different number at you.
We're paying you a lot of money per fight because of your name.
Right.
We're not going to do that anymore.
You haven't been winning, so we're not going to pay you as much. We want to restructure your contract because we have the right to do that, and you have the right to tell us to fuck off. But, yeah, I think that's it. Look, John Vellante, if you'll fight in the UFC for 10-10, they'll probably still have you. But if you want to try to get as much, if you want to go to bare knuckle boxing and maybe make 50 bands to box some shitbird, yeah, he's probably going to be on out the door too. And I think that'll be the case with a lot of these guys and girls, especially the ones that have a name. Some of y'all just going to get the pink slip. You wasn't good enough to make the cut, bud. You got in here, you went 0-2, 0-3, and off you go back to fucking RFA or LFA or wherever the fuck you is, doing your thing on the regional scene. But the people who have a name, especially like a Yoel Romero, one of those type of cats, they probably would come to them and be like, all right, look, we wouldn't mind to keep you, but we're going to keep it a buck with you. We're not paying you what we used to pay you. If you don't like that, we can split ways.
And listen, insert Scott Coker, by the way, watching that press conference, doing the Birdman meme.
Snake hands.
Doing the Birdman meme.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's do it, baby.
Listen, to keep it a buck, cue all of them. Fucking Chit Yo Dunn or whoever the fuck runs one. The bare knuckle prick. I mean, everybody's like 60 fighters, huh? Shit. Fucking Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Everybody's probably sitting around rubbing their fucking paws thinking, fuck yeah, that's all kinds of fucking talent that's about to be fucking sent out to fucking outcast. Love it.
So do you think the focus is going to be, because this is the cards felt like, it's funny watching that. It's actually the first time I listened to it. I had just seen the tag for it. I was like, oh, I'll play that on the pod today. But it's the first time I actually listened to it. And last night when I was watching the card, I finally had that epiphany that I've been kind of waiting to have.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious, but I've just been complaining about the cards. And I'm watching the card last night going, all right, what we've been doing here is we're watching a lot of prospects from various ranges. Prospects that are kind of high level, prospects that are mid-level, prospects that are low level, and the cards are just filled with them.
Sure.
And a lot of it's COVID stuff, right? The international travel's difficult to do and whatever else, right? Sure. So it's kind of a byproduct of that. And I'm watching it and just going like, all right, I'm going to stop bitching about the quality of cards. But by fucking God, when this COVID stuff is done, we better have a string of the greatest MMA cards in UFC history. But we need to. That's fine. You want to keep during the COVID era? We want to keep just figuring out who the fuck we got, and then now after listening to that, okay, we're gonna start just cutting people.
Right.
I'm cool with it. Mm-hmm. But by fucking God, after this COVID shit, we better just have a string of non-prospect cards where it's just the people who have floated to the top over the last year are just on a string of cards right in a row.
Right.
Like we got to see that.
To be fair, also, man, listen. The WWE has one up on us in that they write this shit, man. Like, we're at a disadvantage because it's real. We work with a lot of bullshit, man. A lot of prima donnas in the fight game that don't want to take their fights. Guys get hurt. Now we have COVID. I do think also that sometimes we just go through these ruts where we're waiting. Because, look, we got Conor in January. John Jones has got to be planning something relatively soon. He's making his descent to heavyweight soon. Francis is fighting Ngannou. Usman.
Francis is fighting Ngannou.
Oh, yeah. Francis is fighting Stipe.
Yeah.
Usman is fighting.
I was like, listen, I'd be down to see that, though.
That sounds fucking fun. That would be a fucking real fun fight. We got a lot of good fights coming up. So sometimes when we go through these lulls, it's because, you know, that's why we ain't seeing none of these big fucking name cocksuckers, because they're all about, you know, Jorge Masvidal. Colby would assume maybe that's the fight they're going to do. It's got to happen at some point. You know what I mean? All these fights. TJ Dillashaw's coming back. Dominic Cruz is coming back fighting. Fuck's he fighting?
It was somebody that's kind of like a prospect kind of guy. It's not a real popular name.
I think they're sort of throwing a softball finally, which I'm okay with. Fuck, Dominic Cruz fucking is injured more than any fighter I've ever fucking seen.
I love listening to Dominic Cruz commentating, where he almost starts getting in fights.
He's cunty.
Yeah, and then him and Paul Felder, when they started laying into that judge, and John Anik was just trying everything in his power to get them to stop, and they're both like, fuck you, dude. Like, we're both fighters, so like, we're gonna voice this.
At one point, they even did, like, I think Paul Felder said something, and Dominic said something right afterwards. It was just kind of like, yeah, no, I don't think so, bud. That's a little off. Yeah. And then, like, it was so sort of awkward that Anik was like, fuck, what was it? It was something about, like, I think they were talking about Marlon Vettori, and like he loves to get in there and actually fight. And Dominic was like, well, you know, in the UFC, we all really like to get in there and fight. And then fucking Anik came in and he was like, well, you know, I don't think everybody loves it as much as Marlon there, Dominic. But this sounded like he was just like, sorry, Paul, let me fucking take a little bit of the sting away from you.
Right.
I was like, oh, you guys are sort of getting a little weird over there.
The
energy.
Well, and then when they were going in the judge, and I just love that Paul Felder used himself. Like he's like, listen, that same judge said I won against RDA.
Yeah.
I did not win against RDA.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's a pretty hard point to argue.
Yeah, because you're like, how you telling me he's wrong?
Yeah.
Like he's like, dude, I didn't win that fucking fight. Yeah, he's like, I didn't win that fucking fight.
I was in it, and I know I lost.
And that same judge said I fucking won. So I know he's
that
crazy.
Means they're an idiot.
Yeah. So and I don't remember, what was the fucking fight? Was it OSP? Was that the one that he said OSP won or something stupid? No, because OSP got knocked out. What was the fight? I can't remember what the fight was, but he he clearly didn't win.
Yeah,
like whoever that judge said he won. It was the fight before that, I think.
I think, as far as the judging goes, I do think.
I mean, and we went on this the other day, so we don't got to go on it. But
I think there should be like a 3-strike policy or something, man. There should be somebody that can vote on something, and you should only be able to get so many of these egregious decisions before there's some.
The problem is you got to define egregious. You got to like.
I mean, but for fuck's sakes.
Like, just because you disagree with the other two judges doesn't mean you're being egregious. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's. I understand why we haven't changed this, because it's such a slippery slope.
It seems easy to change, but in all actuality, it's pretty difficult.
It was the John Allen versus Dola. Yeah, the guy that said John Allen won. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? How about that 22-second slam KO?
Oh yeah.
Do you pronounce his name Levitt?
I think so, Levitt. I think so.
Dude, that guy's fucking. I'm into him.
Yeah, me too.
I love that he is so nerdy.
Yeah,
he's so nerdy.
He scares me.
I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I tweeted right after he was talking. He's got that fucking sort of calm serial killer vibe that makes me nervous as fuck.
But he seems like he's more, and he seems more intense than Sage. You know, he has that kind of sage. He comes across a little Sage Northcutt. By the way, what the fuck happened to Sage Northcutt? But he comes across, you know, kind of like Sage Northcutt a little bit, but seems like he's more willing to enact violence. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, yeah, for sure.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
I do want to give a shout out to.
That's the guy, by the way. He fought Johnny Walker. Did he? No, different guy. Different guy. I think somebody had posted on Twitter about Johnny Walker and him beating him in the regional scene.
Right.
And someone's like, wrong Johnny Walker.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's interesting. I mean, that's got to also be one of the first knockouts without a single significant punch thrown.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't believe there were any significant strikes, and he got a knockout. Yeah. That has to be like the first time that's happened.
I tell you what, dude, the way that he slammed him, the way he braced for it and put his forearm right up on his collarbone and neck and sort of drove him into the mat, mark my fucking words, you are going to see
start seeing that.
You're going to see guys doing that. That's the first thing I thought, like, well, there's how you do it. You see these guys, with that opportunity all the time, but they don't just sort of, and I guess depending on who the other fighter is, if they sort of like let go and loosen up, they could kind of fuck this plan up a little bit. But if they hold up there the way that dude did, that's how you do it, man. He pulled him up a little bit, put his forearm right on his chest so that when he sort of like jumped. So, I mean, that if you do that, that's how the fuck you slam a motherfucker and knock him out. I mean, that was perfect.
We did kind of think after the Jorge Masvidal knockout of Ben Askren, I think we all were like, are we going to start seeing this shit a lot more now? And we like haven't literally seen it even attempted since.
Yeah, but that's also a little different. It's a little more extravagant. I think a slam situation is a situation that we're going to start seeing. You see that situation in fights a lot more often. People don't start off fights with flying knees.
Yeah.
But you see guys, lift guys up, and girls.
Slam them down, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I think people might be like, yo, there's a technique to slamming somebody that might actually put them the fuck out. Again, I equated on Twitter last night to when we seen Anderson front kick Vitor. I think a lot of people, people have been fucking, throwing front kicks and teeps forever. But when fucking Anderson kicked him right in the fucking chin, you seen Lyoto did it to fucking Randy after that, and all kinds of people started landing that exact front kick right to the face after that. They started throwing it with ill intent, like, hey, we could actually use this as a knockout blow. I think that's what you're going to get with this. They're going to be like, yo, we don't just got to slam them down and get a good we don't have to be necessarily just worried about getting an advantageous position on the ground. We can end this fight right now if we slam this motherfucker in the proper way.
Just don't Jared Brooks it. Don't slam him and fucking bash your own head on something.
Well, yeah, but I like, again, depending on how you're holding him and shit, but I think that's what's really important about the way Homeboy slammed him last night, man. By putting his fucking arm up there, he used his body to brace his fall. Like, his head wasn't going to hit the mat because he was riding Matt Wyman's head into the fucking mat. Like, the way he slammed him, he kind of was like, he landed like right on top of him, like kaboom. Yeah. I mean, that's how that's how you slam your little brother, Jack, when you catch
what happened
stealing your Twizzlers.
Refresh my memory. What happened in the Carlos Newton infamous
Matt Hughes
fight? What happened there?
Sort of the same thing, kind of. If I'm not mistaken, I think Carlos Newton was going for a triangle, and Hughes just fucking country boy straight lifted him up and ran across the cage and power bombed him, the old school sort of.
And then he knocked himself out too?
No. I don't think so. I think he just knocked out Carlos Newton. Or I could be wrong about that. Maybe he did knock himself out.
I'm trying to remember because I don't
think he knocked himself out. I think he dazed himself, but I'm pretty sure he got back up to his feet.
I think he got back up, which is why he won, but I think he was
he didn't knock himself out.
I think he was like, what happened? After he got up or something.
A flash knockout, I think.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. I mean, I saw that fight not all that long ago, but I can't. I'm trying to remember the exact sequence of events and how it happened.
I think Dana White usually cites that as his favorite fight of all time.
It was fun.
That's one of his favorite fights of all time.
He also loved was it UFC 33? I can't remember. There was some card early on that was just like one of the worst cards ever. And I watched it with Keith, and it really is the worst card.
His favorite fight is it's not that one. It was Matt and God damn it, what was the prick's name that Matt Hughes had the fucking rivalry with? Oh, fuck.
Was it Lindland? Did he fight him?
No, it wasn't Lindland.
I was just thinking two wrestlers.
Fucking Frank Trigg. Frank Trigg. Bald, yeah. Dana White didn't like Frank Trigg, so that I think it was in the rematch or something, and I think old fucking Matt Hughes did the same sort of vibe. I think he choked him to sleep or something, and fucking Dana pissed his pants.
Did Frank Trigg wind up reffing a UFC fight?
He did.
Yeah, because I know he's a ref now, and I was trying to remember if he actually wound up reffing a UFC fight.
He did. I like that. See him in there like, son of a bitch. I mean,
he made it back in.
I couldn't believe it was actually him. I was like, so it was actually Frank Trigg, son of a bitch.
He made it back in, baby.
He made it back to the UFC.
The couple, I mean, I don't know. The first fight on the card was the Jake Collier-Jean Vellante fight. Boy, that's got to be one of the sloppiest fights I've seen in a hot minute.
Yeah.
And with two guys that have no business being heavyweights, especially John Vellante.
Well, right. That's the problem with that is it's like neither one of you guys are fucking heavyweights for fuck's sakes. I mean,
yeah,
that's stupid. Yeah, especially John Vellante. Like, bro, you're a middleweight. What the fuck? Maybe 205, maybe, but heavyweight? Are you fucking out of your mind? Yeah, John, go in there and fight Francis. Know the difference.
Yeah.
Shout out to the dude. Who was the gentleman's name? The fucking Thunderstruck OSP.
Oh, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, Jamal Hill. I like that guy, man. Nasty hands, fast hands. Lord knows we fucking love a new prospect at 205.
Well, and he's, I think you. I like seeing a guy like that go through some adversity.
Oh yeah,
Ovince St. Preux is not an easy fight.
Yeah.
He went through some adversity
for sure,
and he stayed sharp and kept going, baby. I mean, and that's what I liked about Marvin Vettori yesterday. I mean, going. He went through some fucking adversity. He was gassing out in that third round.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just gassed.
Yeah.
And then, boy, fourth, fifth round, he just stormed back.
Yeah.
And looked so much better. And you like seeing that. You like seeing that.
Okay. Yeah. Quick thoughts. I thought that Jamal Hill looked fucking great.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him fight again.
Agreed.
And
he's gonna have a big probably step up here. I mean,
I know that
I'm
everybody's going to be big on Marlon Vettori. I know fucking Italy and the goddamn mafia is probably fucking popping bottles right now. And
Jack Hermanson is.
This might be a bit of a hot take here.
I think put him in there with Robert Whitaker and be done with it.
Color me, yeah. I was saying, color me not sold yet. I'm sorry. He's a good kid, but this was. In order for me to really buy that Marlon hype, he would have had to come in here and sort of either get a finish or beat the fuck out of Jack Hermanson. That fight was way too close for me to annoy. Like, I don't, as much as I'm not really a big Robert Whitaker fan, I think Robert Whitaker fucking takes his lunch. I don't give a fuck how close the first fight with Izzy was. I think Izzy beats the fuck out of him at this point in the game. I don't think he gets past Paulo Costa. I hate to be a big-time fucking hater because I know the guy's coming off the biggest win of his career. But, again, cue the fucking GSP. I'm not impressed. Not impressed by your performance. It was a very good fight. It was a very good, very entertaining fight. But as far as, like, me seeing a performance that I'm like, yo, Izzy might have something to watch out for, I didn't see it last night.
Well, and he's already beat him.
Right. But that was a good fight. It was close, but I also feel like that was really early in Izzy's UFC career. And as the great DW always says, some of these guys, it takes them a while before they feel like the octagon is their home, before they really feel comfortable in there. I think Marlon Vettori just got lucky. He caught Izzy before. Like I think that if they fought, 2 months from now, Izzy would style on Marlon easily.
Okay.
I just think now he's. That octagon in his home, he feels good and comfortable there, and I don't, quite frankly, I don't think Jack Hermanson would have nothing for Izzy either, but that's neither here nor there, because he lost.
Let's talk about the upcoming pay-per-view. Let's give this a grade, especially in comparison to what we've been seeing. It's next week here, December 12th.
Fucking A, all right.
Yeah, today is the 6th, so it is next Saturday.
Shit. All right. Goddamn, thank God we need a good fucking card, for fuck's sakes.
Our main event is Devison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Both of these guys just fought.
You know what?
Took it on short notice.
You know what? I'm fucking pumped for this. I'll be honest with you. This is probably the most excited I've been for a flyweight fight in a long time, and I think it's because I am quickly becoming a really big Figueiredo fan. Cocksucker fucking wrestles bulls, comes from Brazil. He's fucking no nonsense, all action, and the best thing about it, he rubs it in that cute little cocksucker Henry Cejudo's face. I fucking love it. I'm here for it. 125 is actually lit now.
Yep.
And to be fair, I talk a lot of shit about Henry, but the truth is I can't wait for him to come back. I'm waiting for this division to get, and I think if he does come back, he'll probably try to go to 35. I'm one of the folks that feels like he's going to get thunderstruck there. I feel like eventually Henry does come back to the fight game, and we see him at 25. And that's when I think things are going to get really fucking interesting.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to, and I'm gonna probably talk some shit. Deiveson Figueiredo is the champion, okay? And he is doing something that Demetrius Johnson never did and would never do, which is taking a title fight on extraordinarily short notice.
Right.
And I think for me, the reason why I don't view Demetrius Johnson as being the greatest UFC fighter or pounder, whatever it is, there were things that he didn't do that he needed to do to get there. And I think one was he needed to take the fight with Dillashaw, and especially looking back, he probably would have won the fight. So it's like,
right.
He really just needed to do that, just to like let's cement this once and for all.
Sure.
And I think he needed to be willing to do shit like this, you know. And I'm definitely an advocate of, you have the belt, nobody should pressure you into taking a fight on short notice when you have the belt. Like,
sure. You're the champ.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you need adequate time to prepare to make sure you keep that thing. But at the same time, being willing to do it speaks volumes.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those deals where, exactly, like, if you're the champ, like, look, we can't really hold it against you if you decide to not move up, if you decide to just defend your belt where you're at or whatever, or not take, short notice fights. We can't really, again, you're the champion. You can't really hold that against them. But I think that most of us would be really not being truthful if we said that we didn't enjoy the fuckers that do. I mean, there's a reason why BJ Penn to this day is still my favorite fighter. Barring the fucking getting knocked out by the fat boy in the parking lot, barring getting made look like a shitbird in his last 10 performances in the UFC, the things that BJ did when he was in his prime I'll never not respect him for it.
And why you and I have been kind of Conor stance. You know, kind of a similar thing.
Sure. Conor fought all. Again, exactly. Yeah, you can say what you want about Conor McGregor, but the last few years, notwithstanding with the whole boxing Floyd thing, shit's got a little weird then. But in the beginning of his career, he fought everybody. He fought Chad Mendez on fucking 2 days' notice. He was calling for the Jose fight when nobody was calling for it, a lot like Chael Sonnen. When Chael Sonnen started calling Anderson Silva a bitch, let me tell you something, Jack. Nobody was calling out Anderson Silva's name when Chael started letting the ring out. And when Conor started doing that with Jose, it was the same sort of vibe. Again, all you youngins forget, now Jose Aldo's sort of a punching bag. There was a time in the game where Jose Aldo was motherfucking Shang Tsung. Like, you did not speak that man's name. He hadn't been beaten in 10 years. He's this Muay Thai legend. You could pull up his highlight reel, and it shows him fucking beating fucking Uriah Faber's legs to a pulp, just starching fools, knocking motherfucking, splitting Cub Swanson's fucking eye wide open in 10 seconds or some shit. I mean, his highlight reel back in the day, before these last 5 or 6 fights, was fucking nasty. And Conor was just like, yo, he's a midget, he's small, he's weak, he's slow, he's old, I'm going to destroy him. At that time, it meant a lot. And then when he did it, and then he moved up to 55 immediately and took the fight with Eddie, yeah, man, that shit.
And listen, and try to take it with RDA sooner.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't like, I mean, part of that wasn't his fault that it and even the fight with Aldo took forever because of Aldo.
And he's getting the finishes. So to bring this around to the relevant point that we're making with Deiveson Figueiredo, not quite Conor-esque, but he's sort of doing that. He's taking all comers. He's getting impressive finishes. And by God, when you do that, it does. I'm a fan. I've been a big critic of flyweight, but God damn it, it only takes one guy or girl to get in there, really start kicking ass, really start getting impressive finishes, and putting their fucking reputation and legacy on the line for me to be like, hey, I'm actually sort of invested in Deiveson Figueiredo at this point. Yeah. Now, I will admit, I got to give Henry his credit. He's another very interesting piece of this puzzle. If there was no Henry or DJ out there, I might be like, so he beats Brandon Moreno, and then who's next? But knowing that there's a DJ and Henry out there, if he keeps winning, gets me rock hard, baby. Just knowing that, because I think that eventually, if he keeps winning, one of those two pricks come back and fight, because he becomes the money fight again. What are you going to do, DJ? Yeah. You going to stay in? It's one thing when at flyweight, there's still nobody for you. But now that we've moved on without you, and we've got a new sexy flyweight champion, and he's finishing everybody, it's sort of like DJ Who. Like, all of a sudden, you're not the A side no more, DJ. Now we got a Brazilian berserker who's crushing people in the fucking first and second round. He's our A side.
Yeah.
Do you want to come prove that you're still the best? Oh, and Henry, same goes for you. You know, you were doing a lot then, but it's been a while. I say this all the time, but it's very true. MMA is very much what have you done for me lately as a sport. Lately, Davison Figueiredo's been looking fucking amazing. Lately, Henry's been doing a lot of tweeting. And lately, fucking Demetrius Johnson's been fucking smashing cans in China.
Yeah.
And those are just the facts, what the fuck. So if this shit keeps going, you know, we're going to look around and be like, all right, Henry, all right, DJ. You know, there was a time where you guys were the two that sort of had nothing to prove. Now there's a new sheriff in town. He's got the real belt. You know, you retired. It's weird, too, because, you know, Henry left the belt and walked away. When that happens, it's really hard for a champion to sort of come in and kind of override that legacy. And maybe I'm just a Henry Cejudo hater, but dare I say that Davison Figueiredo is almost there. Like, I don't really miss Henry no more. Like, I'm willing to look at Davidson, especially if he comes out and smashes fucking Moreno in the first round or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he's the flyweight champ. Fuck Henry. If Henry wants that belt, come back and get it. I'm not completely sold that Henry would just smash Figueiredo. So, like, you know, for all of me, you got to come back and earn that title at this point. Somebody's taking the crown. It's the same thing with, you know, Habib at lightweight. Bro, don't stay gone for too long. Conor gets a couple knockout wins in a row, and all of a sudden, man, you're old news.
Yeah. Co-main is Tony Ferguson, Charles Oliveira, which, I mean,
love this fight.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not be? I mean, I'm all in.
This fight is fantastic for a lot of reasons. It's one of those very mutually beneficial fights where Charles Oliveira gets the fucking fight that he needs, a big
to
fucking name.
finally get a title shot. And
it's either fucking shit or get off the pot. Here you go. Here's Tony motherfucking Ferguson. You beat this cocksucker, you're in. If you lose, which we all kind of probably assume you will, I think, you know, I would imagine that Tony Ferguson will be favored in that fight, then you kind of are who we always thought you were, you know, a very, very good gatekeeper. But you got your opportunity. Here you go. This is it. And for Tony Ferguson,
gets to prove he's still relevant.
Well, he gets sort of a gimme. I mean, goddamn, Tony's been getting fucking animal after animal. And, I mean, he's been winning. And
this is not a gimme for me.
No, but, well, listen, as compared to fucking Habib or Gaethje or Dustin Poirier, I mean, as much as I like Charles Oliveira, and he very well may be as good a fighter than them, I think he's still a slight rung under those guys. I mean, Tony's been fighting, you know, the number 1 or 2 ranked guy for as long as I can remember at this fucking point. You know what I mean? Last for a couple years. At least he's getting a guy. I mean, what is Charles Oliveira ranked? 4 or 5 or something like that. Yeah, you finally gets a guy that's like not in the fucking top 2 or 3. Still a very tough dude. But I would say a lot of us would look at this as a winnable fight for Tony, you know. Very winnable.
I mean, going back to 2016, this is who Tony's fought. Lando Vannata, Rafael Dos Anjos, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, and then Justin Gaethje. So I think Charles Oliveira is better than Cerrone and Pettis. And he might arguably be better than Kevin Lee. And that's going back to 2017.
Fair enough.
So I think we might be inflating Ferguson a little bit here.
Maybe
I think Ferguson just had a run there. I mean, he didn't lose. The last time he lost was against Michael Johnson back in 2012 by decision.
And then he went on
a tear. And then, you know, lost against Gaethje. But the problem is his loss against Gaethje was a brutal loss. I mean, brutal. And that was 6 months ago.
Fair enough. Good point.
So I don't know if this is a kind of even remotely a gimme. I think this is a tough fight. I think.
Well, it's definitely a tough fight.
I think if Ferguson wins, I think he proves, hey, I'm still here. And if Oliveira wins, I think he proves, hey, I'm ready. So this is the fights I'm talking about. When I'm like, give me shit with some stakes.
Yeah.
Give me something that's important.
Some meat on the bone.
Yes.
Something that matters. Yeah, but either way, this fight is definitely that.
Moicano versus Rafael Fiziev?
You know, listen. Moicano, right?
I mean, that's definitely the A side there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we'll tune in to see what Moicano does, but, you know.
Kevin Holland, Jacare.
That's a good fight. I mean, obviously, Kevin Holland was supposed to be the one fighting Hermanson last night.
Correct.
So.
And Jacare was the one who was supposed to be fighting
Vittori.
Vittori.
Yeah, so they just switched. So
give him a little switch.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And then rounding out the main card is JDS and Cyril Gain.
That's a fucking banger. I love that fight. That very well may be my favorite fight on the card. I think a lot. Well, no, not quite like a Tony Ferguson, Charles Olivier, but in that fight, it's definitely like, is Cyril Gain that guy? Like a lot of people assume that he is. Well, I think he's probably the most hyped heavyweight prospect we have right now.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, boy, a fight against JDS will figure it out real fucking quick. That was pretty much like old fucking Hazmat fighting Leon Edwards. I mean, JDS, like, again, motherfuckers like to sleep on JDS, but make no mistake about it. He's one of the better heavyweights the UFC's had for the last fucking 10 years. I mean, the motherfucker can box. He's tough. He's got good fight IQ. Like, this is a tough fight for Cyril. If Cyril Gain comes in and demolishes JDS, the heavyweight has a new contender immediately.
Yep. That is to me, that's a relatively solid main card. I don't know. Is it pay-per-view worthy? I would say probably not.
Probably not.
But we're close.
It's good though.
We're close enough that I'm like, whatever, fine.
Yeah, it's a very good card. I mean, they made a good point. Again, JDS, Jacare. There's a lot of names there on that main card. I would pay for it, man.
All right, there you go. All right,
I'd pay for
we
it.
get the Fred money seal of approval.
The main event usually would turn me off, but like I said, I'm sort of really into Davis and Figueiredo right now. So this is actually a really, really good main card.
All right, prelims. Cub Swanson. Who's he fighting? Oh, Daniel. I know I've seen him. I don't know how to pronounce his name though.
Pineda.
Pineda. He just fought Herbert Burns before that and got a win. A big win.
Solid fight.
And that was his debut in the UFC.
Right. As I say, I don't know much about him other than that win.
He had 2 no contests in a row in PFL. I wonder what the story is there.
Maybe the weeds.
One of them he won, and it was overturned to no contest. The other one he lost. It was overturned to no contest. So, I don't know. I'm interested in the story there. And then after that, he goes to the UFC and gets a pretty big win over Herbert Burns, like especially as a debut. So now he's in there with Cub Swanson. So it's an interesting enough fight. I'm there for it. Next up is Mackenzie Dern versus Rob Schneider. It's fucking crazy how much she looks like Rob Schneider. It's unreal. The issue in this fight for her name is Verna Jandiroba, I believe.
Jandiroba, yeah.
The issue for her is going to be here's her UFC career. She loses to Carla Esparza by decision in her debut. Okay. After that, she rattles off 2 wins against Mallory Martin and Felice Herrig. Felice Herrig being a decent win there.
Decent.
Okay, but here's how she won those 2 fights. Mallory Martin, rear naked choke. Felice Herrig, armbar. You're now fighting Mackenzie Dern.
And you ain't winning it like that.
So that's going to be the issue there. Is because even then going back before that, she's in Invicta, wins by arm triangle.
She's a grappler.
Wins by armbar, wins by rear naked choke. Now we're going prior to Invicta. You got an armbar, you got a rear naked choke, you got a triangle, you got a rear naked. It's just like, if that's your game plan, I have a hard time imagining that you're going to be able to beat Mackenzie Dern. But by God, if you're able to get in there with Mackenzie, this is a huge, especially in a division that is ripe with, opportunity.
Right.
Would you say, especially just what we kind of have at strawweight right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If she out-grapples Mackenzie Dern, would you naysay her basically just getting a title shot?
I don't know about getting a title shot, but it would put her right in that conversation if she out-grapples Mackenzie Dern.
Because it's just like, what else do we have at that point? Like, that would be huge if she can make that happen. Does Mackenzie Dern make 115?
That's an even bigger question.
Right?
Fucking, I don't know, man.
We'll see.
I don't think she should, though.
I don't think she should either. But
Make 25. 25 is a lot more ripe for the picking. I will say this quickly, though, just about this fight, just about Mackenzie Dern's.
Now, it says, I mean, obviously they're both ranked at straw weight, but it says it's a 115 fight, but that may be a typo.
Yeah, they should both go to flyweight for all me. But anyway, either way, Mackenzie Dern obviously I would assume has the better jiu-jitsu, the better pure ground game here. But one thing that old Rob Schneider has going for her, I can't pronounce. Excuse me, I just can't pronounce her real name. So, this is a fight. It's not a jiu-jitsu competition.
Yeah.
So all it takes is
She's strong.
Well, one
You hit her, daze ya, and then that's how I choke you out.
Yep. All it takes is one good knee, one good punch, and then when we hit the ground, you ain't a black belt no more. You're a blue belt.
Yep.
And I land another punch, you're a white belt, and then I'm choking you the fuck out.
Yep.
So like, if they hit the ground early and she doesn't rock Mackenzie on the feet, yeah, more than likely she's taking a fucking nap or going to get her little arm snapped.
Yep.
But if she can land a big shot, again, this is not jiu-jitsu.
And Mackenzie likes to stand.
That's what I'm saying.
She does.
And it only takes, you if you're in there with the wrong sort of striker, it only takes getting cute for 1 minute to get put on your keister.
Yeah.
And then, and that's real shit. Like, Mackenzie Dern is high level black belt.
Yeah.
One punch on the chin that buckles her knees, like not necessarily knocks her out, but like puts her on her keister, that black belt shoots down to a fucking, I don't know exactly what's under a fucking black belt in jiu-jitsu, but it goes down there real fucking quick. Blue, purple, whatever the fuck. Like, you ain't a black belt no longer when you hit that ground and your fucking brains are fried. What the fuck? And then again, they land another punch and you lose another fucking belt level. Eventually, your grappling skills are nowhere near what they need to be if you're on the ground rocked as fuck. So
Yeah. Below that is Andrea KGB Lee versus Jillian Robertson.
I hate to be a dick, but it's like, fuck KGB. And her fucking racist ex-boyfriend.
Tisha Torres and Angela Hill.
Hey-o!
Yeah, I know you're into that.
The brisk gust of wind.
Billy Q versus Gavin Tucker. I'm real into it. You don't have to be. I am.
Fair enough.
I'll be into it for the both of
Yeah,
us.
you can like that one for us. I know you're a Gavin Tucker stand.
What else we got? I'm not going to list the rest of it, but the
First 4 fights of the night.
the curtain jerker is Chase Hooper versus Peter Barrett.
Okay.
Which I'm real into that. I'm super excited.
I would
for
like
that.
to see Chase Hooper get back.
And then you
on
have Jing Liang Lee, Dwight Grant after that.
Not the leech. That's my guy.
Yeah, and then you have Carl Robertson after that.
Okay, all right.
So the whole card is good. I mean,
every fight.
T to
has-
B. We got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Here are your cancellations or rebookings or withdrawals or fizzled fights, whatever. I'll just list them all. You had Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Nunes withdrew. You had Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns. Usman withdrew. You had a fizzled fight between Carla Esparza and Amanda Ribas. You had a canceled fight between Marvin Vettori and Omari Akhmadov. You had a canceled fight between Marvin Vettori and Jacare Souza. And then you had a canceled fight between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Yan withdrew for personal reasons. So you lost Usman Burns, Nunes Anderson, and Yan Sterling. So
It's a lucky this.
we're lucky the card is good,
right?
Given those are the fights you lost,
right?
Because listen, if you just take out like the Moicano fight, put that on the prelims, get rid of one of the prelim fights, like the Sergey Spivak fight versus Jared Vendera fight, whatever. Like, get rid of that fight and then replace the Moicano fight with Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling.
Oh, yeah.
Then that's a fantastic card.
Oh, yeah, tremendous.
That's
card.
a tremendous, right? I mean, we were that close.
Yeah, right.
We were that close from
we're one fight away from this being like a fucking 10. So, so it's a very good card.
So we're
Solid
there,
card.
which is good. I mean, I've been disappointed, so I'm.
Yeah, I'll be super excited finally.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. So that is the next Saturday. So we then have UFC Vegas 17, which is headlined by Stephen Thompson and Geoff Neal. That's on the 19th, and then that's it. We don't have a card again until the middle of 2021.
Ooh, so it'll be about 4 weeks.
So we're going to have a little bit of a break. So you have card next Saturday, and then the Saturday after that is UFC Vegas. And I'll just give you what they have so far. And this could be the entire card because it's a huge card, it looks like. There's 16 bouts. Wow.
Jesus.
I mean, listen, last card of the year, so let's make it fun, baby. Why not make this the pay-per-view, I guess? I don't know. Like, why not make your last card of the year the pay-per-view? Unless maybe they had to for ESPN. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
But it's Stephen Thompson, Geoff Neal.
That's a fantastic fight.
Marlon Moraes, Rob Vaught.
It's a good fight.
Yeah. Misha Cirkunov, Ryan Spann.
Okay.
Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera.
And this is not a pay-per-view card, right?
No.
Okay.
Marcin Tybor, Greg Hardy.
Oh, wow.
Anthony Pettis, Alex Morono.
Oh.
Real into it. Now we're going to fall down a little bit. We got a man with an African name I cannot pronounce versus Jeremy Pickett.
A newcomer.
One guy is ranked the number 1 light heavyweight in Virginia. The other guy is ranked number 5 middleweight in the U.S. West.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Whatever that means. Then you got Rick Glenn, the gladiator himself, versus Kirtland Minus.
Okay.
Tyson Nam, Matt Schnell into that. Bilal Muhammad, Diego Lima.
Oh, fantastic.
There we go, baby. Draco Rodriguez versus Amin Zahabi.
Okay.
All right. Paney Kinziad versus Ijera Eubanks. Michelle Pereira versus Chaos Williams.
Oh, fuck me. That's
Give it to me. Give it to me. Darren Wynn versus Antonio Ario. Jimmy Flick versus Cody Durden.
Okay.
I know who Cody Durden is. And then Jillian Robertson again, apparently. She's fighting on this card. So we're just planning for her not to get hurt.
Yeah, that's a little strange. But
Interesting. Versus Talia Santos. The fights that were canceled were Darren Wynn versus Antonio Braga Neto. Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady. Which Wynn and Muhammad are still on the card. Just they lost their opponents. The big one was Leon Edwards versus Chimyov. That would have been fucking awesome, but it is what it is. It's gone now.
that's fucking bullshit that fucking Hazmat wouldn't just fight Neil Magny either.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me.
Neil Magny wanted the fucking smoke, too. Hazmat turned it down. I'm just fucking saying.
it backs up everything you're saying, right?
I'm just, you know what?
He goes, yeah, I'm just letting people know. I'm not no opinion. I'm just letting people know.
I've hated Neil Magny for years. You're going to fuck around and make me like him. You're going to fuck around, turn me into a Neil Magny fan.
Can you imagine if Neil Magny had the same understanding of range as OSP? Because OSP is really good at range.
Yeah.
And mechanically understands it and does a really good job with it. And I think Neil Magny might even have a bigger range than OSP. I mean, he's just these real long, lanky arms and huge. And but he just doesn't understand how to use it, and he never has, which has been my biggest, just like, God damn it, Neil Magny. Just like understand range. And it's like if he could just flip that switch and just could have the same understanding of range as OSP, like he would be a really good fighter.
Yeah, he'd be dangerous.
And even as it is, he's a good fighter.
Oh, he's a great fighter.
He
can't.
He
could be the next level.
Yeah, he just can't step up because of that. It feels like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, I mean that's probably all. I mean we're almost at an hour, but we can. Anything else you want to add before we go?
Quickly, I got the perfect thing right here to wrap up with Yair Rodriguez.
Oh shit! Yeah, we have some.
We got some clarity.
We got some clarity on that.
Some clarity. We got some clarity.
Well, and it wound up not being a USADA failure,
right?
Which maybe is why Dana said that's none of my business.
It was. That's exactly why.
If it was a failure, he'd have been like,
it would have been his fucking business. But we didn't. He didn't really fail. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I got to hand it to fucking Yair. I've been thinking about this. I think Yair's got it licked. Listen, for all you cheating cocksuckers out there, this is what happens. He got suspended for what, 6 months?
Yep.
And he would have got
had he failed, he'd have got suspended for
2 years, 3 years, something.
Which that's the thing. Treat it like they do DUIs.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? Just if plead no contest.
If I pull up, or I'm saying I from the perspective of a police officer. I used to teach the Let's training on Fort Bliss, so I would talk in I language. If you pull up or if you get pulled over on suspicion of drunk driving, and you refuse a breathalyzer, you are punished as if you failed the breathalyzer.
Right.
Do the same thing for USADA.
So, like, if you don't take the test, you get the 3 years.
Yeah, whatever the max number is.
Right.
Like this is if you would have failed for this, it would have been an automatic 2 years. So that's what you get.
So okay, well then let's just get this out of the way. Do we all think and agree that he just cheated?
Yes.
There's no other reason why he could have just missed them.
No.
5 different times.
No.
Okay. As much as I like Yair,
I think he clearly
knew what he was doing, was just avoiding them. And
clearly. Like, it's not even a question.
I guess that's it.
There is, you can't
miss them that often.
It's like one's an accident, twice is maybe an accident, 3 times is probably not an accident, but maybe. 4th time is definitely not an accident, but I guess you still get some wiggle room. You know, it's just like
5 times later.
It's like at some point, it's like, all right, this is no longer a fucking accident.
assume
it might have been 3 times, but regardless.
But yeah,
one time's an accident. The second time is jazz.
Surely,
you know,
they got his number. They're calling him. They're like, listen, we're going to be around. I mean, after they can't find him the 3rd time, surely they're probably like, listen, we're not even supposed to do this, but motherfucker, you need to be around in October. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
You can't just keep. Because, I mean, I suppose there are certain circumstances because they surprise you. So they could be like, hey, where are you at? And it's like, fuck, I'm in Costa Rica. I'm in, wherever the fuck. I'm in the Congo fucking hunting grasshoppers. Like, I can't take your piss test. It's literally impossible unless you want to fucking
I love
the Congo.
I love that your example of a UFC fighter's vacation is I'm in the Congo hunting grasshoppers.
They probably don't got grasshoppers in the Congo.
I doubt it.
The fucking point is, I could be doing something that you pricks just can't rush up on me onto right now. Like, but again. Yeah, 1 or 2 of those is one thing, motherfucker. You can't be off chasing ghosts constantly. Like, at some point, you got to come back to Mexico or fucking New Mexico or Arizona, wherever.
Well, and I think what they do is, it's like if they, more than likely, if they try to surprise you somewhere and you're not there, they probably call you and say, hey, we need to know where you're going to be tomorrow between the hours of whatever.
Right.
And if you're not answering or telling them, or if you tell them I'll be here, then you're not there. It's like you get like another time, like, hey, this is now the 3rd time. You said you're going to be here within this time frame. You weren't.
We sort of need
so now we're asking you again, where are you going to be later today between this time and this time?
Right.
We need you to stay put.
Right.
It's like, whatever. And it sucks, that USADA can dictate a chunk of your life there for a minute. But, dude,
how else do you do
if
it?
your fucking internet goes out and you call Time Warner, guess what they're going to do? We'll be there between 12 and 4.
Right.
Well,
right.
You just got to fucking be there between 12 and 4.
Right.
And hope they show up at 12.
Right.
And if they don't, you're fucking there till 4. It fucking is. It is what it is. Like that's what happens. So it's not even like this is an unprecedented concept of you got to be somewhere between a certain range, and it is what it is.
So now, and we got to go. We only got about 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We're good.
But this brings up a way bigger, more interesting question for me. Do we care
that Yair is doping?
Yeah. When he does come back for the Zabit fight eventually 6 months from now, will we care? I, for one, can be just keep it a buck with you. Probably not.
I can separate. It'd be different if after the fight he fails. But it's like, I guess at this point,
yeah, but he's cheating.
If he finally takes the USADA test, and then it's like if he doesn't have anything in his system leading up, and then there's nothing in his system after. Whatever, he's worked it out of his system. I don't know how much more help it's going to give you. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I mean, that's my point. It's a weird thing. I almost wonder sometimes if we're not just wasting time with that sort of shit, man. Like, who really fucking cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think we care that much. It's sort of fucked up, but it's true. Like, I agree with you. I think, why else would he be gone 5 times? He had to have been doping. But do I really care? Like, he'll be back 6 months from now. Will I really be any less excited for his fight? Excuse me. Will I really be any less excited for his fight because of this? The true answer, the real answer? I don't really think so. TJ Dillashaw, even better example. That motherfucker flat cheated. Said he cheated. Said sorry. The whole most of it. I think we're all pretty fucking excited to see TJ get back in the cage.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked at even MMA Twitter, which is full of a bunch of fucking mouthy twat cunts. Everybody's sort of like, yeah, we're pumped. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. There's something about testing positive for steroids in MMA that just seems like we don't give a fuck. Like, no, whose legacy has truly been ruined by steroid use?
Yeah.
Like really, truly. I mean, people say John Jones, but it hasn't. At the end of the day, we all still pretty much assume that John Jones is the GOAT, or one of them at the very least.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva still gets put in that conversation. It doesn't really hinder people like that. It just really doesn't, actually, man.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucked up, because then that is the type of message where it's like, if I was a fighter, well, why don't we cheat? Why wouldn't I? If at the end of the day, nobody's even going to really hold it against me like that, like even my fans will sort of get over it, why wouldn't I take the fucking chance to cheat at that fucking point? You know, that's the sort of the bummer with this, is it's going to make all of our favorite fighters be like, well, fuck, if nobody even really cares when you get caught, then it's worth the risk of getting caught. It'd be one thing if after you got caught, like when TJ came back, if we all booed him and everybody fucking, you know, if we treated fucking TJ Dillashaw for cheating with steroids like we treat Greg Hardy for fucking throwing that broad on the bed with the fucking guns and throwing her a slap, which I'm not really equating the fucking two, but I'm just saying if we did, I think a lot less people wouldn't be so quick to be like, yeah, I cheated, so what?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really tarnish their career at all. Josh Barnett has been caught cheating more than fucking Lance Armstrong, and nobody really gives a fuck. When we talk about his career and his legacy in MMA, people speak very highly of it. Youngest heavyweight UFC champion of all time, did all these things, won all these titles, greatest catch wrestler to ever compete in MMA, arguably. Like, nobody brings up the fact that the dude's pissed hot literally like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. Nope, I'm with you.
So it's like, you know, if he did, I don't know, I guess he did the best possible thing he could. Run, you get the 6 months violation. We'll be seeing him next summer, and we won't really give a fuck. By then, we'll have forgotten what he was even suspended for.
Correct.
Well, congratulations, Yair. I guess you fucking...
You did it.
Yeah, you fucking did it, bud.
All right.
Nailed it.
We out of here. Anything you want to add, Fred?
Nope, that's it, brother.
Go get your chicken sandwich.
I'm out the door.
See you, buddy.
Later, bro.